Alright, everybody, so, surprisingly enough, I have found a reason to talk about FF14, that is Final Fantasy XIV, in a politics segment, believe it or not. You see, recently, there was quite a bit of drama in the Final Fantasy XIV community. For those that don't know, it's an MMO. It is in the Final Fantasy franchise, but if you're not familiar, each game is effectively a standalone thing. You don't need to have played any of the others to enjoy any of them, right? Like, you just start with FF14, you'll figure out what's going on. It's an MMO, and it is currently the biggest MMO in the world. It has pretty thoroughly dethroned WoW, I would say, in regards to the, like, player base, popularity, all that good stuff. And while WoW does seem like they're making moves to try to maybe bring it back, especially with the World Soul Saga stuff they just announced, super hyped for that, FF14 currently holds the crown. And I say that as a very long-time WoW player who only recently got into FF14 because of some friends. Which, by the way, I have a Final Fantasy XIV free company, which is basically like a guild. If you want to join me, press !FC in my chat, and a link will pop up to the Discord where you can join to hop in there, and it's my free company Discord. You can join the server that we're on. There are rules in there for how to join the free company in the game. I hop in VC a lot, and we run dungeons and raids and world content. We watch movies and TV shows in the VC. It's basically the best way to play the game with me, so !FC in chat, and you'll get a link if you want to join that. Very excited to see more people join the free company. We've got quite a few people in there now, so the more the merrier. So yeah, consider getting in there. That said, though, Final Fantasy XIV is massively award-winning and massively popular. Its storytelling is very highly talked up. I am currently, like, I literally just finished Stormblood, am leveling all my role classes so I can do the role quests in Shadowbringers. I have not started quest number 1 of Shadowbringers yet, but I have seen the trailer. Holy fuck am I hyped. However, there's been some drama in the FF14 community, because the first 3 expansions of Final Fantasy XIV, the like, beginning portion of the game as we know it today, has, like, leitmotif themes, or leitmotif, I forget how you pronounce it, that are, like, musical, and they're very iconic, very well-known, very impactful when they hit in the game when you're playing through the story, and the vocalist of said early game themes and leitmotifs ended up having some drama. Her name's Susan Calloway, and she is the voice behind iconic FF14 songs such as Answers. Here's an example of a song that she sings from FF14. I think this is fine, because it's a video game song. Is there audio? Hello? Okay, it's gonna play in a second. Yeah, see? This, Answers is copyrighted. No, it's in the trailer, and it's a boss music. It's not gonna fuck me over. No one would be able to stream FF14 if that was the case. Anyway. This is not her singing. But she starts singing in a second. This trailer is also amazing. Very good. Hold on. Alright, here it is. This is where she starts singing. This is the lady who we're talking about today.
To all of my children in whom life flows abundant, to all of my children to whom death hath passed his judgment, the soul yearns for honor.
Okay. This is your last chance to listen to this song before I ruin it for you, as well as several other songs that are iconic in the first few expansions of FF14. You have one last chance to pause this, stop the video, tab out, rewatch the Realm Reborn trailer, rewatch the Dragon Song War thing, and enjoy it one last time before I ruin it for you. You see, Susan Calloway does not currently work on FF14. She hasn't, as far as I know, done anything with FF14 since Stormblood. So we're talking over half a decade since she's had any part of FF14's soundtrack. But she is quite iconic for the early game soundtrack, right? Like in the first 3 expansions. In fact, the Answers song you just heard is one of the most iconic songs of all of FF14. Thing is, though, she's still pretty popular in the community. So she gets invited to a lot of fan events. And she recently was banned and fired from her appearance at one of these fan events for FF14 due to some cropped up tweets that she had liked and retweeted. She had liked and retweeted several very clearly transphobic tweets, several very clearly, like, Zionist, anti, like, really racist and like, genocidal towards Palestinian tweets. I believe there was some racist stuff, too, like white nationalist shit. Very, like, Christian nationalist here. She is, like, a mega chud. I think she might have even pushed QAnon stuff. I might be making that bit up, but I think she even liked some QAnon shit. Yeah. So, reminder, by the way, she was not fired from working at Square Enix and working for the FF14 musical team for this. She hasn't been part of that team for years. This stuff only came up recently, and only recently became a big issue. So, here's the thing. I'm fine with this. I think this is great. I think it's fine. Oh, she did? Wait, did she actually get fired for these tweets? I was under the impression she only had this stuff crop up recently, and this was just the thing that happened with FanFest. Or not FanFest, that one fan event that she was booted from, right? The Lancer, can you confirm or deny if she was fired for her social media shit? Because I was under the impression she just hadn't worked on the game in quite some time. Yeah, she is also a big-time Trump supporter. Yeah, she went down the QAnon pipeline? Okay, wait, never mind. I misunderstood you. You meant, yes, she did go down the QAnon pipeline, not she did. Yeah, she didn't get fired from Square Enix for this shit. This was... all this stuff came to light years later, okay? To be completely clear, that is important knowledge to know going into what we're about to watch. However, as you know, anytime a conservative gets fired for holding horrible beliefs, the right feels the need to kind of come out of nowhere to white knight them for the sake of farming clicks and money. One person in particular who's become quite good at this is Melanie Mac Go Boom, who you may know as that girl who ate an entire stick of butter to trigger the libs. Yeah. She's kind of like a, she's kind of a skinwalker. I'm pretty sure she looked like a completely different person last time I covered her on stream. Is she a skinwalker? I swear to God, this is a different looking person, like, in every way since last time I covered her. I'm not even joking. Is she a skinwalker? Regardless, she made this video that really caught my eye, and I figured I ought to cover it, considering I am myself an FF14 pro. You know, about to start Shadowbringers. You know, I'm quite the pro at FF14. No one has gotten further than me. She says, FF14, vocalist fired for liking common sense tweets. I wonder if she's going to lie and say she was fired from Square Enix and working on the game for liking common sense tweets. Remember, by the way, conservative propagandists refuse to ever acknowledge any progressive positions with honesty. So whenever, like, espousing beliefs that just denigrate and dehumanize their opposing political, you know, people they oppose politically, right? They call it common sense, because anyone who disagrees with them is wrong, and they are the ones who are correct because it's all common sense. And, you know, but they claim people should be allowed to be wrong and have freedom of speech to be wrong, but their definition of what is wrong is, very tenuous, and they tend to go back on that a lot. Right-wingers are just not honest. They aren't very consistent. They just kind of want to achieve the worst things possible, and they'll lie and say completely contradictory things at a moment after saying a previous thing that doesn't work with the next thing they say, like a minute later, just to keep an audience happy, because that's all they care about. Also, for those curious why my, voice sounds weird, I bit the shit out of the tip of my tongue while I was eating, and it hurts every single motion I make as I speak with my tongue. So it is making it very hard to speak. It is very painful, and very unpleasant. So that is why my voice is weird, if you guys notice anything weird. Anyway, let's go.
Cancel culture strikes again, and this time against Final Fantasy.
I forgot how annoying this lady is. I have to speed this up a little bit. I have to. I have to. Also, last time I covered this lady's channel, she was attacking modern-day video games for supposedly making all of the female characters ugly, and she said that she's a girl who plays video games, and when she plays a game, she wants to play hot female characters. She wants to be pretty. She wants to be sexy in video. That's women's power fantasy, is being sexualized in the characters they play in games. It's like, that is so far from bullshit when, every girl I know that plays video games talks about how they wish there was more armor that didn't have boob windows. I've literally never met a girl who plays video games who hasn't said to me something along the lines of, I wish there was more gear options that didn't have boob windows. Just as an option, just something to be there, you know? And a good example of a game that has said problem is Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV is a game in which you are pretty much restricted, if you play as a female character, to playing as, Giga Stacies. All of the armor sets are slut mogs, as they call them in the MMO world, and super revealing and hot, right? Have you been to Limsa Lominsa in FF14? This is possibly the tamest transmog I've ever seen on a cat girl in FF14. But this is generally what the average FF14 character looks like. Generally. So the fact that she talked about how women actually love games that appeal to male sexual fantasies, and yet now she's calling FF14 woke or whatever. Also, literally a Japanese studio, and the right, fetishizes the fuck out of Japan as this, hyper-traditional, anti-woke place where you can go and have sex with minors or whatever and live the conservative dream. Do you know how many... Did you see all the conservatives melting down when Japan raised the age of consent laws so that it wasn't legal to have sex with 13-year-olds anymore? Did you see the conservative fucking outrage online over Japan making it so they no longer have that as an option to go and legally fuck kids? They really are just fucking demons, and they're open about it sometimes. Anyway, let's hop back into it.
Fantasy vocalist because she liked some Republican tweets? What is this, year 2020?
Wait, is the implication that the world has gotten less woke since 2020? What isn't the current year thing supposed to be that we're getting woker and woker every year? And it's getting harder and harder to be a conservative every year? How is the what is it 2020 comment good? Okay, you guys have to remember, conservative dudes just would rather have a mildly attractive woman, and I'm not taking that back, and yes, I mean it, a mildly attractive woman say the exact same dumb shit any other content creator could say to them, but it's a woman, so it feels like there's some level of yeah, the femoids are breaking ranks and actually letting their secrets out to us men. They're letting us know what we're not supposed to know. Yeah, I guess maybe because 2020 was when Biden got elected, that's the worst year ever to these people. And that's the wokest year.
Yikes. Okay, let's just go ahead and dive into this video. So this comes to us from Bounding Into Comics, and the title here says Final
Fantasy XIV theme song vocalist Susan Calloway removed from KupoCon a non-official fan event, guest list over her liking of conservative tweets. She hasn't worked on the game in years. It was a non-official fan event, and she was a guest. She was on the guest list. Also, I'm pretty sure the primary reason why she was removed, honestly, was probably because she's expressed anti-vaccine sentiments, that she's anti-vax, and you don't want someone who's publicly an anti-vaxxer coming to your massive fan-made game event, right? Like, that alone is good enough reason. Although, you know, these people are anti-vaxxers themselves, so I've literally gotten so many replies to my videos that are like, all right, buddy, go get your 4th vaccine this week. And it's like, can I actually be offended by hate comments from people who are actually, like, unironically anti-vaxxers? Like, they're gonna die. They're literally, like, consigning themselves to natural selection. Like, it's just like, oh, you're stupid and going to die before I do. Cool. Like, if anything, it fills me with joy. I don't know. When I find out people who hate me are anti-vaxxers, it fills me with happiness, because I know they don't have long. Anyway, that aside, though, it's just funny to me that she's lying here. There was no fired here. She was on a guest list for a fan event. She wasn't fired for these tweets.
The 14 theme song vocalist Susan Calloway removed from KuboCon guest list over her liking.
Also, reminder, she's reading a Bounding into Comics article, which is a, like, white nationalist website. So, like, the person who wrote this hasn't even played FF14. Answers is not the FF14 theme song. Answers is the Realm Reborn theme song. Every expansion has a different theme song. You fucking idiot. Susan Calloway hasn't had anything to do with FF14's music since Shadowbringers. Is this girl like Discount Brett Cooper? Yeah. Yeah, a pick-me girl making grifter content. You know how it is. Dime a dozen.
Conservative tweets. I thought we were getting past this stuff, man. Do we have Elon Musk, like, say he was going to help people with lawsuits over...
Answers is a recurring leitmotif. It is not the main theme.
This stuff happening? Come on. All right, so in the latest example of those who claim to oppose gatekeeping rushing to exclude anyone who disagrees with them, it has been announced that thanks to a backlash against her...
The epic own of, yes, the left says they're against gatekeeping, referencing the fact that the left is against gatekeeping people of certain, like, minority groups who have been ostracized from certain communities due to factors that they were born with that are unchangeable. And they're like, but they are not allowing us to go to their cons because we believe that they're subhuman and shouldn't be allowed to live. Real tolerant, these lefties. It's a fan event. It's a fan event, and she was removed from the guest list.
Liking of tweets which criticized various tenets of modern-day progressivism.
Notice how they can't even say it. Like, they can't even say, like tweets saying trans people are mentally ill and invalid. They can't even admit what it was that she liked. They have to say, liked tweets that went against the progressive narrative. They have to be super vague about it, because if they actually list the things that she said or liked, then a lot of people will be like, oh, especially FF14 fans, by the way. FF14 fans, you need to understand, are not conservative-leaning. FF14 is the biggest MMO in the world, and its fan base and its content are woke as fuck. It is not one of those games that has a large, like, any amount of conservative fans that just don't get it. It is to the point where you go into any capital city in FF14, and there are pride parties being advertised in the player housing at any given time. Every night, there is a pride-themed party with rainbow flags and pride flags galore being hosted and heavily advertised. You can get gay married in the game. There is a marriage system in the game where you can marry other players, like your friends, and you can teleport to each other using a ring, and you can get gay married. The creator of the game, the main guy behind it, Yoshi P, has explicitly expressed years and years ago that he is pro-trans. There was actually a story he told about how he was inspired to add the ability to cross-dress into FF14, like to wear feminine clothing and, like, basically dress like a woman and like basically make yourself hyper femme as a male, or vice versa in the game, when he saw a trans like kid walking down the street and just saw that like she seemed really, I don't remember if it was a trans boy or girl, but they seemed really like depressed about the fact, like, and lonely, right? And like Yoshi P was already pretty progressive to begin with, and that really kind of pushed him to implement that feature. So very progressive game. I mean, like, the story of it is you're literally like a hero empowered by a god on a quest to unite all the nations of the world to take down a fascist, racist empire that wants to take over the world, that's being run by demons behind the scenes, maybe. We'll see. Like, it's literally the bad guys are trying to kill you because they see you as savages. They want to colonize your land. And you're literally trying to, like, defend against, like, a hyper-advanced, like, imperialist nation that wants to, like, wipe out your rights to religion and, like, freedom. And they're literally just Nazis. They're just the Nazis. It's literally the bad guys of the game are just the Nazis. And they're the bad guys. Like, I don't know how else to put it, right? Like, it is an aggressively woke game, and that is not lost upon its audience. This video will have, based on its viewer count, 26,000 views on an over 100,000 subscriber channel like hers. This video did not even resonate with her own audience, much less the Final Fantasy community. She was not cooking with this one. She was really dipping her toes in the wrong pool. There is no way that this transphobic grifting YouTuber was ever going to pull in any substantial amount of Final Fantasy XIV fans. 50% of the cat girls in Limsa Lominsa are trans girls, okay?
Prominent Final Fantasy XIV vocalist Susan Calloway will no longer be making a previously scheduled appearance at the upcoming KuboCon Fan Expo. I'm curious what tweets she liked. Calloway, whose voice brings to life the respective
a non-official fan event, by the way.
Answers, Dragon Song, and Revolutions themes of the popular MMO's base game and its Heavensward and Stormblood expansions first drew the ire of some Final Fantasy XIV fans on October 30th when Twitter user Star Diver invited the public to go take a look at Susan Calloway's recent likes and replies. Dude, get a life! Get a life!
I like this implication that caring about people's political opinions, if they're, like, horrifically bad, is awful. This is basically the, like, the South Park brain shit that a lot of conservatives kind of, like, live off of. The idea that caring is cringe. Like, oh, this large, massive figure who has significant influence and plays a big part in the creation of a piece of media that you enjoy thinks you don't deserve to exist. If you care about that, you're cringe. Get a life if you care about that. Like, no, your job is literally to complain about this shit on the internet. You don't get to tell people to get a life.
All right. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, you should go take a look. You know that...
To be fair, she is, like, so low IQ, she's not capable of having any insightful commentary or criticism. So she just kind of has to wheel out some bargain bin insult that her conservative audience will just kind of gobble up like clowns.
Character, I forgot his name for some reason. It just that redheaded dude on Recess who always told Mrs. Spencer, was it Mrs. Spencer? Always told, he had his little notebook out and he would tattle on people all the time. Oh, is his name Eugene, or am I getting mixed up with a Hey Arnold character? I can't remember for sure, but nobody liked that kid. He was insufferable. He was a loser. He was just constantly narking on people. That was like his whole personality.
Hey guys, did you know that caring about politics makes you like an annoying cartoon character that people hate? Don't be like that annoying cartoon character by caring about things. You don't want to be like that character and care about things. What is this bizarre... Like, this is the kind of argument that flies with conservative content viewers. You have to remember, his name's Randall. I've never seen Recess. I'm sorry. It was a little bit before my time, or maybe it was after, and I just didn't have cable. Regardless, though, I know the character. I've seen like the memes. Like I don't know. It just seems like a bizarre. Like I don't know. It's just so weird how lacking in substance most conservative content is, both in regards to the arguments and what they choose to complain about, right? Like, these people truly believe they are talking about important shit, and yet the most important thing on their mind right now is the box office numbers of the new Marvel movie. It's crazy. God, I hate what South Park's done to people. The funny thing is, that new South Park special, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's making fun of these people, right? Cartman has been explicitly framed as, like, the bad guy of South Park, like a complete villain, like a complete piece of shit, like a bad person. Don't get me wrong, the fan base hasn't recognized this, but it's very clear that is the creator's intent, right? Even though the creators have some really shitty political opinions, it's very obvious that Cartman is a Nazi and that is bad, right? And so they make this special that's very fence-sittery, to be fair. Like, it kind of makes fun of both sides, which in a case where I think one side very clearly deserves more heat than the other. But the right is so incapable of media analysis, they only see the making fun of the left and completely miss the jokes and the bits that are making fun of them, to the extent that they take bits from that episode making fun of them and use them as memes unironically, under the belief that the show wasn't making fun of them there. One of the most common ones is this like meme that comes from the episode South Park Into the Panderverse, or whatever it's called, where like Cartman has a nightmare where everybody is like a woman of color and he's Kathleen Kennedy. And so it's him saying, put a chick in it and make it gay. And this is supposed to be like Kathleen Kennedy, like running Disney with like Star Wars and stuff. So like, if you're not insane and you look at this, like this line, you can tell that this is the South Park creators making fun of chuds for what they think happens at Disney. But they see this and they're like, oh my God, epic own. Here's an unironic meme made by a conservative about this. This is completely unironic. Congratulations, Kathleen Kennedy. You have to be real scum to become Cartman. I don't know how they hate Cartman, like, and know Cartman's a bad person, but then also hate Kathleen Kennedy for being woke. But, I mean, we also have those, like, gay 14-year-old girls on Twitter with Kyle Broflowski avatars that get offended at, like, anti-Christian jokes and clearly have never seen South Park before. Like, we are in strange fucking times, okay? Really strange times. Have you seen that one interaction between the two South Park stans about the Jaden Animations, like, making fun of Christianity thing? You look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you'll know exactly what I'm referring to, and you'll understand. You'll understand. Don't fuck with South Park fans. We literally don't watch the show.
Was to try to get people in trouble all the time. And now people are openly, just unabashed, unashamed, acting exactly like that. No shame. No shame. Per some highlights of the former category shared by Star Diver, the vocalist likes included tweets in which real Andy Freeds shares a Turning Point USA image reading, "Here's an idea, a reality show where socialist college students are sent to a country that closely resembles their desired political system and are left to survive for a few months." That's funny. Pat.
Well, that country doesn't exist, but epic own on the lefties. Oh, I forgot the screen. My bad. Sorry, screen was fucked. Screen was fucked. Yes, that is the level of low IQ humor that makes these people laugh. They do genuinely operate on a lower level of brain function than we do. I do think some level. No, I'm not. Call me Icarus with how close to the sun I was about to fly.
McGinnis opined that the reason why peace has not been achieved in the Middle East is because of Islam. Riley Gaines called out how, in the name of inclusivity and feminism, males are brutally beating up on women and being awarded for it in women's only martial arts tournaments. And Genevieve Gluck lamented how Japan's longest running Grape Crisis Center has been declared ineligible to receive public funding following statements made by the facility's director, which were deemed by government officials to be discriminatory against males who identify as transgender.
Remember, this is a white nationalist publication she's reading. Like, she isn't, like, just a grifting alt-writer, right? Like, or she's probably just a grifter, maybe not really alt-right. I feel like she's just trying to farm clicks. Like, she literally started out by eating sticks of butter on TikTok is how she got popular. So, it's very clear she's just doing this for attention and money. But, like, she's just reading articles from Bounding Into Comics, which is a white nationalist site. Like, that's all she does. She just reads white nationalist articles and then, like, cracks one of the most unimpressive jokes you'll have ever heard in your life, and then continues reading. The crazy thing is the entire premise that this video is based on is bullshit. She wasn't fired. Susan Calloway just wasn't fired from the FF14 thing. She just hasn't worked in multiple expansions with them. She wasn't fired. She just hasn't been renewed. Her work hasn't been needed. And this was a fan event that she was disinvited from the guest list of because of her horrible takes. The fan base of mostly little gay people, I'm going to be honest, the FF14 fan base is very gay, don't want somebody like that at their fan event. Most of the people running the event were probably LGBT. Like, seriously, if you guys haven't started playing FF14, if you've, like, ever thought about getting into an MMO, it is the one to get into. Like, if you're in my community. Like, you will find an overwhelming majority of like-minded people on that game. You will not be shit on or, like, made fun of or, like, cringed at for being a woman on the game. You won't get shit for being gay or trans or a person of color. It is the wokest fucking game player base I have ever seen. And it is also the biggest MMO in the world. It's really no wonder this video performs so badly for her channel.
Imagine what kind of chronically online, basement dwelling, never had a job in your life, obese, Twinkie eating, blue haired kind of person you have to be.
Does she realize that, like, 80% of the other dudes doing this content that she does, that she's friends with, like the quartering, are themselves obese neckbeards that don't have real jobs, that are making videos in their basements? Like, I say not real job by her standard. Obviously, I think content creation is a real job, but conservatives, despite literally having that as their job, will say it's not a real one. Like, she literally just described 80% of her colleagues. Besides the blue hair part, I guess. Yeah, blue hair and pronouns. Epic own of lefties. Epic and original joke. Epic comedy.
To see that these tweets and think, oh, these are terrible. I can't believe someone would like these tweets. How dare they? They ain't never touched grass in their life. You just, yeah.
We can see, we can go to, like, the Final Fantasy FanFest images of the cosplayers if we want to. Do you want to? Okay, hold on. Let's see these supposedly, like, neckbeard, overweight, unattractive people that she's referring to. We're really gonna just, like, cover all of our bases here. FF14 has femboys. Holy shit, that's a spoiler. At least it is for me. Holy crap, this cosplay is fucking mad! Holy shit! Damn, people are popping off with their cosplays in the FF14 community. What the fuck? Look at this Garuda cosplay. Jesus. Alright. Look at this legend cosplaying Xenos. Xenos is, like, kind of femboy, I feel like. Kinda. We've got multiple dragoons. I think these are 2 Estinians, and then another Estinian post getting blood on the armor, and then the eye. And then this is Alphino, I think. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Alphino. I can't see the bow. This is the old outfit where they couldn't be distinguished from looking at them from the front. I couldn't tell the difference between them for a while. Here is definitely, no, it is Alphino, because the book is the giveaway. That book is the giveaway. That's Alphino. Because Alize has doesn't have that book, I don't think. She uses a sword. So yeah, this is Alphino and Emmerich. Dope as fuck. And look at this insane fucking Garuda cosplay. Look at that shit. God damn. WoW has some pretty top tier women in that community, okay? You go to BlizzCon and you will see some cosplays that will make your jaw drop to the floor and cause you to have an unironic anime dude nosebleed, all right? I must say, though, the FF14 cosplayers are quite impressive. Who has the image of Ian Hezekostas, one of the game directors for WoW, getting stepped on by that Yatsuyu cosplayer at Final Fantasy Fan Fest recently? I need that image. I need to show you guys that image. He's dressed up in the cosplay of... Yeah, Tataru, thank you. He's doing a cosplay. It was Preach, not Ian. Oh, my bad. I thought it was Ian Hezekostas. Do you have who has the image of Preach in the Tataru cosplay getting stepped on by the Yotsuyu cosplayer? Thank you. Nessingwary, you are based. Here it is. This happens in the game. Yeah, it was Preach. Yeah, my bad. He looks like Ian Hezekostas a bit, you have to admit. How many of you are installing it right now? I can fix her, Zan. Gosetsu is in my chat right now. That's crazy. Hi, Gosetsu. We really just stunlocked into FF14 shit, didn't we? Cherry, keep most of that in, but cut out the dead air and where I'm looking for the link. Anyway, back to the video. Back to this fake gamer girl who's never played FF14, like, complaining about something that she's completely wrong about because she doesn't even know this event isn't official. She's just, like, so out of the ballpark here that it's hilarious. By the way, she claims to be a gamer. She claims to play MMOs and love... Like, I assumed she would play FF14 when she said she likes to power fantasy for herself being, like, a really pretty girl. Apparently not. I do believe that she's a fake gamer. I don't think she's played a video... I don't think she's stomped a Goomba in her life.
Like clockwork, after her social media
As we all know, women don't play video games.
Activity was brought to light, Callaway was met with a wave of backlash from a large number of Final Fantasy XIV players who have never touched grass in their life.
Oh yeah, she tried to claim that her account was hacked, but like, who hacks a celebrity's account and just likes some conservative tweets? And that's it. Like seriously, who likes who hacks a celebrity's account, just likes a few conservative tweets over the course of a few weeks, then it gets backlash, and then all of a sudden she's public about the fact that she got hacked? That literally makes no sense. It's the most obvious lie I've ever seen.
Many of whom had near immediately begun to call for the singer's removal from her upcoming appearances as both a guest at KupoCon and as a performer for Distant Worlds. The current...
By the way, the KupoCon thing, once again, for the 50th time, is a fan event, a non-official fan-run event. The actual official Final Fantasy convention is called Final Fantasy Fan Fest.
Ongoing Final Fantasy orchestral concert tour. Eventually becoming aware of the outrage building against her, Callaway took to her since deleted personal Twitter account later that same day to address the situation, telling fans and critics, guys, it appears my account was hacked. Dude, don't! This is like bending the knee to the mob. Come on. She got scared.
Well, yeah, it was very clearly a lie. Yeah, of course she's gonna bend the knee to the mob. Her ideas are bigoted and unpopular. These people are so desperate to pretend as though their side of politics is the, like, silent majority popular side, but at the same time, the left is like overwhelmingly powerful and scary and can destroy your life. Like, they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be the persecuted victims and this all-powerful, always winning, like, we're on the winning side, we're the winners, you're all taking L's, but also we're the persecuted. Like, it's literally one of the core tenets of fascism. It's one of the, like, the main bits, you know, fascistic elements of conservatism that seems to be inherent in all of their messaging, no matter how, like, moderate.
She got scared and she wimped out. I haven't been on Twitter that much as I've been working quite a bit. I love you all dearly and am firmly against hate of any kind. What is going on in our world grieves me. I pray for peace for all, that we could choose love over hate. Some like...
It is insane that she literally sings a song about the fucking war between the dragons and humans, which was caused and started by the betrayal by the humans, but the rage of one single dragon wanting revenge pushed the, like, rest of them into continuing a war that would continue to cause deaths of, like, thousands and thousands and thousands on both sides, and, like, you finally managed to work together to cause peace between humans and dragons, and that's the fucking song that plays. It's about you like, the war, and then, like, the strife of all of that, and then you managing to achieve peace between humans and dragons. Like, that's the literal fucking song that's played, like, is about peace and love. And she virtue signals about it here to cover for herself. But could you imagine, she sings that song, and that is the meaning and context of that song when it plays in FF14, all right? And yet here she is, liking transphobic and bigoted tweets, and white nationalist shit, and QAnon shit, and she's a Trump supporter.
Blanket statement, vapid thing. Okay. Guys, by the way, love, peace, yeah. No hate. Stunning, brave to say such things, which is hilarious.
Ah, yes, how dare you be intolerant of people who don't like minorities? I thought you guys were the tolerant ones. You epic own. Yeah, it's crazy how these arguments still have staying power after all these years. Like, some new grifter just kind of pops up out of the woodwork, and as long as they've got a gimmick that keeps them fresh enough, they can repeat the same tired arguments that died off years ago and became a meme. Just, like, be relatively attractive woman, repeat 10-year-old, like, cringe talking points, make modest living off of YouTube grift.
Because the blue-haired land whales who do not touch grass and live in their parents' basements, they get...
God, she is really desperate to, like, throw out insults at people's appearance who disagree with her politically. Like, she's like, so against people on the left being opposed to people that disagree with them existing because of their identity, and yet she constantly throws out insults towards the appearance of people, not even the appearance of people that disagree with her, but the appearance of people who, like, tend to disagree with her. There are tons of people that look like that don't disagree with her and don't fall into the boxes that she's laying out, but she doesn't care. She's just kind of like a bitch. Like, conservatives overall, like, their core, you know, like, the core thing you have to be conservative is, like, an asshole. You kind of fundamentally have to be a bit of a bad person to start with. And that is what is preyed upon to bring you further into a bad direction. Most people grow from there, grow up, and, you know, character growth and all that, character arc. They evolve, right? But conservatism desires to get people while they're young and they haven't developed their moral systems yet, and to fuck them up even further, and to, like, lock and cement that shit in. But they're really mad that most Zoomers these days have pretty progressive opinions, and that's why most conservatives are trying to advocate for raising the voting age to 21, or in some cases 25.
To decide what is love and hate. They're the ones in charge of all that, you know. A man beating a woman senseless in a UFC tournament or whatever, martial arts tournament, you know, but as long as he wears a wig and...
I'm sorry, but trans woman. It's a woman, not a man. You're just bigoted. There's no argument there. You just kind of hate trans people. The overwhelming majority of scientific like institutions and medical institutions and psychological institutions all agree that trans women are women, trans men are men. Gender is not a binary, and it is not the same as sex. Like, you're the one who has the unpopular opinion here, even within the realm of science. So cope. That isn't an argument.
Says he's a woman. That's okay. And to be against that is hate, because blue hair, they, them.
Something that I've noticed in my years of covering conservative content is that most of their content and the arguments contained in said content are just insults towards the left and marginalized groups the left advocates for, disguised as arguments. And the left is meant to understand them as insults and react as such, but those that don't recognize the obvious insult are meant to be left in, completely unawares. And when the left responds in kind to said insult, the left looks unhinged and like they're overreacting. Which is why it's important when you respond to people like this that you just don't fall for the bait. Just point out how bewilderingly pointless all of this is. How blatantly this of a grift she's participating in. How lacking in any actual, substance her content is. The fact that her entire video is based on a completely false premise and she doesn't even know what she's talking about.
400 pounds, never worked a job in their life because they...
Okay, she's repeating herself now. So I'm guessing the rest of the video is literally just going to be her repeating blue hair, land whale, never worked a job before, touch grass, basement. When this is literally, most of the people that she associates with are, overweight, living in basement, not working real jobs. Because, we're talking the quartering and, geeks and gamers and those types, right? You actually can't make this shit up.